Welcome, everyone. For those of you who don't know about the Center for the Women of New York advocates for women's rights for Unfull equality since 1987. CWNY has been empowering women to reach their full potential by offering services that provide the skills, information, and support they need to address economic, emotional, and legal challenges. We have two locations. One, the two buildings are here in your screen. We are located at Queensboro Hall. We also have this beautiful building in the bottom at Fort Totten, which is in Bayside, also Queens. Some of our events. Tonight, we will have our monthly financial literacy workshop. Our speaker will be Carroll. Thank you. She joins us every month. And a little bit about the center. I'll introduce Kathy better in a minute. Given the needs of women during the pandemic, we have been focusing on financial literacy because we know it's a big need. I want to empower women. And in career and job skills. We do have another series of workshops on careers, and that is on the first Thursday of the month at noon, in case you're interested. We do have services such as, these are the programs. These are some of the programs that we've done. Parenting during the pandemic support. We celebrated the first but not the last women during Women's History Month. We had health and fitness programs. They are on pause right now. We're looking forward to bringing them back when it's safe to do so. We will have panel discussions about domestic violence, trafficking. Here, ongoing services. We have two support groups, one for women in crisis, another one for caregivers. That one is for those who take care of our aging friends. We have ESL classes, a legal support team that answers to procedural questions via email. And we have a referral program. So if you're in need of any services and you're not sure if we have them, please give us a call. We have many partner organizations and city agencies that we can refer you to. If you would like to see any of the webinars or workshops from the past, you can find them on our website in cwny.org/past-events. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them on the chat. And if you have dialed in, you can email them at events@cwny.org. Lana, our amazing volunteer, is with us tonight, and she'll be monitoring our email. If you could please share your zip code with us, we will really appreciate it. Lana put a link in the chat that helps us with funding. We would like to know where people are coming from and who we are helping. But that's it, just your zip code, no other personal information. And if you dialed in, you can email your zip code to the same email, events@cwny.org. Again, thank you for joining our our preview of 2021 income tax returns, including the tax advance child tax credit. Our guest speaker is Carroll. I'm not sure if I introduced myself. I'm Cecilia Vinosta-Weigel, president of the Center for the Women of New York. All right, let me introduce Kathleen before we go on. Kathy is our treasurer. She's a volunteer at the center, and she does these monthly workshops. She's also going to help with tax preparation. We'll have that service for free. So, check for details coming soon. Kathy is a professional accountant, enrolled agent to practice before the IRS. She has been practicing accounting and providing bookkeeping services since '81. To the present, she works with individual and corporate clients. She directed and ran the Student Association Income Tax Preparation Program at Queens College for 26 years. She also ran an annual seminar in the International Students and Scholars Office at Queens College. These programs were provided for free, and we're going to do the same at the center this year, and we're excited to be able to offer that, and thank you, Kathy, for it. She received her BS in accounting from CW Post Center of Long Island University and attended a graduate program at New York University. Kathy volunteers at the center, as I mentioned, as our treasurer and former vice president of finance. Thank you so much, Kathy, for being here tonight with us. And the floor is yours now.
You're welcome, Cecilia. Thank you. And my pleasure to be here and to give the webinar. So this evening, we're going to talk about a preview of the 2021 income taxes, which we're going to be starting pretty much now. And we're going to be also speaking about the advanced child tax credit, which is the child tax credit has been around for many, many, many years. But in the past 2 years or so, they've really changed the way this has been administered and how it's going to be calculated on the tax return. So the tax season for 2021 returns has opened. And the reason that we have opened in brackets like that is because the IRS has announced that e-filing of 2021 tax returns can begin on Friday, January 14, 2022, last Friday. And this may sound like great news, and it sounds like they're off to a good start, but is that really true? And like almost everything involved with the IRS, it's not exactly what it sounds like. So e-filing did open on January 14th for the free file and any other kind of program that is going to do your taxes electronically. But the IRS itself, even though they've opened the filing season, is not even going to look at or process a return until January 24th. So the IRS typically advertises that they process returns in 21 days, but definitely not right now, because even if you did it last Friday, they're going to hold it for 10 days before they even start the 21-day their own clock. Now this slide is wait for documents. What this means is, if a taxpayer is fortunate enough to have their W-2 in hand and any other needed documents, the taxpayer could e-file on January 14th. But the IRS is not even going to look at the return until January 24th. It is also very important for a taxpayer to understand that employers, businesses, and other agencies that may be issuing documents such as banks, stock companies, they don't have to send you your documents until January 31st. So it could be that, okay, we got 3 dates in January here, but it really doesn't mean that much, because it could be possible that your employer or anyone else that may be sending you a tax document isn't even going to send it till the end of this month. So very early filing, even though it may sound like a great idea, can become an issue if a taxpayer thinks they have all their documents, then they file too early, and then they receive more paperwork at a later date. That causes all kinds of problems, not only for the taxpayer, but for the tax preparer, because then you can't just update a tax return, you have to file an amended return. So once the original return is filed, the only way to correct it is to amend it, which is, it's kind of a big process. And additionally, by law, the IRS cannot issue refunds involving the Earned Income Tax Credit, the EITC, or the Additional Child Tax Credit until mid-February, so that they can have time to verify all the data that's on these returns. Because these two particular things over the years have seen a lot of identity theft and you know, a lot of potential fraud involved. So the IRS itself has to take almost an extra month to make sure that everything that a person puts on a return involving these credits is correct. Okay, so we have, what tax season is this anyway? There are a few unique situations already affecting this tax season. Although the season has opened for 2021 filings, which is normal, it should, for some taxpayers, the 2020 tax season still has not ended. In September 2021, much of New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut were heavily damaged by Tropical Storm Ida. Because of this natural disaster, the IRS extended returns for the 3 states to January 3rd, 2022, which is already passed. And very recently, this was further extended to February 15th of 2022. So some returns are still being filed for 2020, and they won't be considered late if they're from the designated areas for the natural disaster. So right now, people could theoretically be working on their 2020 and their 2021 tax return. Okay, now this is the advanced child tax credit. A major development in mid-2021 involved the child tax credit, which is reported on Form 8812. This credit has always been a refundable credit, but until mid-2021, it had to be obtained by filing a tax return. Like, you could never get it in advance. You had to get it with your refund. Beginning in July 2021 and ending December 31st, 2021, up to 1/2 of the child tax credit was sent to families in advance based on information from either one's 2019 or 2020 tax return. For children under 5 years old, a family could receive $300 per month per child for the 6 months the program was in effect. For families with children ages 6 to 17, an amount of $250 could be received. This monthly amount, although very helpful, was not any kind of additional funding. It was exactly what it was called, advanced child tax credit, meaning your amounts received for the 6 months will reduce your total child tax credit on your 2021 tax return. I think when this program went into effect, obviously everyone was very happy and it was very helpful to families, but I think people didn't really understand too well, which they will now when they're doing their taxes, is that this was just your own money being given to you earlier than usual. Form 6419. In order to assist taxpayers in knowing how much money they received in the July to December time period, the IRS has already begun to mail out Form 6419. This is actually not a tax form, it's a letter. There are several issues with this form. The IRS has not publicized it very well, and taxpayers may not even be aware that it will be sent to them. Although it is not needed to file your tax return, it will have the correct amount of the advanced child tax credit. So it eliminates guessing and looking at bank records and just, not being sure about what you received. This form will tell you exactly what you received. Additionally, receiving the new and unfamiliar Form 6419 from IRS may be confusing to the taxpayer. IRS.gov. In order to cut down on the number of phone calls it receives, the IRS for the past several years has been encouraging the use of its webpage, irs.gov, to obtain certain types of information. If you do not receive the Form 6419, the amount of the advanced child tax credit you received can be obtained through their child tax credit update portal. That's irs.gov/ADVCTC. So I believe you have to register and open an account with the irs.gov, but then it will tell you the information about the advanced child tax credit amount that you received. The information regarding the advance amounts paid on Form 6419 and on the portal is just that. It is just telling the taxpayer the amount they received. But now what happens if a new baby arrived after July 2021? Or what about a situation where divorced parents switch a dependency exemption for a child from year to year as per a divorce decree? The first situation is easier. If a new baby was arrived and no advance money was received for that child, the full credit can be obtained on the tax return. The second situation is stickier and may require cooperation between potentially unfriendly parties. If a parent received the advance payments for a child in 2021 and then does not claim the child on the 2021 return, the money has to be repaid to the IRS. So in an instance where divorced parents may alternate years for a child's tax exemption, they may have to amend their agreement temporarily so as not to have to return the advance funds. The advance credit is not transferable to a different parent. So if a parent has a decree that says, okay, the mom can claim the child in 2021, and then they receive the money, the advance, then that's fine. But if the decree says the dad was supposed to claim the child, then that's where they have to speak and figure it out, because otherwise the parent that received the money but is not claiming the child will have to give the money back. Many items are still carrying over from the various forms of pandemic relief that were issued in 2020 and 2021. Most people received the first two stimulus payments, mid-2020 and late 2020, early 2021, or else applied for them on their 2020 return. This was messy, as many people did not know how much they had received, and then the IRS wound up adjusting the amounts. This is one of the reasons that I have clients that to this day have not received their 2020 refunds, although on irs.gov, it tells them their return is being processed, because more than likely they did not know the correct amount of the stimulus that they got. And then this has to be straightened out by hand by the IRS. The third stimulus, which was $1,400 per person, was issued in the middle of the tax season last year, roughly April. If one did not receive this payment, they could not apply for it on the 2020 return because it was too late. It was middle to the end of the tax season. However, it can be applied for now on the 2021 return under the heading Recovery Rebate Credit. Similar to the idea of Form 6419, the IRS will be sending taxpayers a letter, Form 6475, advising of the amount of stimulus they received in 2021. In late March 2021, the IRS mandated that the first $10,200 received from unemployment would be tax-free. This did not apply to New York State, which after waiting almost 2 weeks last year, decided not to follow IRS and continued to tax 100% of unemployment benefits in the tax year 2020. For 2021, both the IRS and New York State are currently stating that unemployment benefits are fully taxable. There will be no $10,200 exemption for 2021 as of right now. So anyone that got unemployment in 2021, that amount is going to be fully taxable. So hopefully anyone that received unemployment had taxes taken out. Now this is about the Irs Free File. Although many taxpayers may have accountants or may use services such as H&R Block or Jackson Hewitt. The IRS itself does provide a free file service for 2021, as it has for the past 20 years. Each one of the free file participants has different qualifications. So you have to read them carefully. It's like each program or each company has a slightly different setup. It has, they have income requirements. Some of them have age requirements. Some of them have minimum income requirements. So when you're reading through the free file, you just have to read them carefully and see which one fits your situation if you're going to use this yourself. Most of these programs charge a fee for the preparation of the state tax return. So it's actually, the federal return is 95% of the time free, but conversely, 95% of the time, the state return is not free. So even though it's designated as free file, it's not completely free. So expect to pay a fee for the preparation of the state return. Our next webinar is February 16th, 2022. Our topic, Income Tax Basics, will go over what is needed to prepare your return, and will also update you on any new developments between now and then, which certainly there will be some. Thank you for your participation. This is a list of the free file participants. You can see this list on irs.gov, and you can access these through irs.gov. You go to the website, just click on browse the free file. As I say, read each one, see which one fits your needs, and then you can do your return right on their website.
Thank you so much, Kathy. Really appreciated this information. It sounds like we have a very confusing tax season.
Yes, I think it's going to be very confusing.
Not that it's not confusing other years, but it sounds like it's not getting any less confusing. Thank you so much. To everyone, please feel free to ask questions. We have plenty of time, so any questions, I know it's until you're sitting there doing your taxes, it's hard to know what you need to ask. But I think it was just so crazy. Everyone was like celebrating the tax child credit, thinking that we're getting all this money but it's your own money. They're given in advance, and then when you get your returns, you're going to be so sad. We are all going to be sad.
Yeah,
all the money we've already used.
I think that that's going to be the case, because there's other things that we'll address that probably next month, but there's a lot of things that people can usually deduct that they haven't had to, because like student loan interest, let's say student loan interest, that's usually something that reduces people's income, gives them a bigger refund. But now no one's had to pay student loan interest, which is nice. That's very nice, but they haven't had to pay student loan interest in almost 2 years. So there goes that deduction. Now with this advanced child credit, a lot of that money has already been paid out. So I think there's going to be a trend this year towards smaller refunds, which is not going to make people happy.
No, especially when people have, there's so many people that have been affected financially.
Right, people are going to need the money
right now. Yeah. Let me see. Oh, it's like Alana, it's reminded everyone to put your zip code in the brief Google form in the chat. It's just your zip code and your name. Thank you. Thank you, Lana. So I wanted to ask you, is there any of these, if people want to go and go ahead and do the free filing, is there any of those websites that you would recommend that's easier to use, or you said that there may be a fee for the state tax returns filing? Are you familiar with how much that fee may be?
Usually it ranges. Typically, I didn't check them this year to see what the state cost, but last year the fee for the state ran anywhere from $8 to one program that's actually a very good program. It's almost like a professional program. It's called Tax Act. And I used to use that program quite a bit, but I'm not really using it much anymore, because they charge up to almost $50 for the state return. So, I mean, it's kind of like, I think even like in their case, it's almost like a little deceptive because $50 for the state is quite a bit of money. So, and what they do also is, which I just found out today, because, every new tax season, there's some new thing I learned. And today I did the first tax return of the season for one of my clients. And this program that I'm talking about, Tax Act, it used to let you print the return, because even though the IRS encourages everyone to e-file and direct deposit, they can't force you. And some people just don't want to. And the client that I had in today, he's always wanted it printed and he wants to mail it. So that's fine. I mean, if he wants to do that, that's fine. But meanwhile, this program Tax Act that I've been using for his return for years, I get to the end of the return and it won't let me print it. I guess it wants to force you to e-file, or it wanted to charge me like, I think it wanted to charge me like $75 to print his return. And that it was always free in the past. So you just gotta have to be, watch it, because also, like, even in my case, I mean, I hate to say it, I like to think everything will go smoothly, but it doesn't. And I had to redo his return on another program, which that worked out okay. And thank God he had a fairly simple return. But what happened was, because this other program had changed everything from what they've been doing for years, I had to basically do his return twice. So it's not a big deal.
Yes, it's helpful to know that
yeah,
that you can encounter that, those issues at the end of or what you think would be the end of the process.
exactly.
We do have a
right at
question
the end of the return.
Right. We have a question in the chat. It says, what if we were single income and qualify for child tax credit, and now things changed, and with two incomes we don't qualify for the tax credit? What happens now?
Well, you should still qualify, because I have to check this. So this is just, just from what I've been reading. It says, I don't have this as an exact fact, but I think that the child tax credit eligibility goes up pretty high. So I think that for married filing joint, I think that the eligibility level is actually almost $400,000. So even if your income increased, even if you went from being single to being married, you should definitely still qualify for that credit in some way, shape, or form.
If you make less than that amount, right?
Right, exactly. Which that's another thing that they've also changed. They've made the income limits like much higher than they used to be, which is good, because then more people are eligible. So,
right. Thank you, Kathy. Does anyone else have any questions? Please feel free to ask. Oh, I was going to ask about the portal. Is there anything else that you do in the IRS portal other than find out the amount that you were given for the tax child credit?
well, yeah, it's like, I think if you set up an account on that irs.gov, I think it'll tell you quite a bit of information, regarding the status of your return, and things of that nature. And I think it will also tell you, it might tell you the amount that you received for the stimulus. It's a pretty extensive, it's getting very extensive. It does tell you a lot of information. So I know that one of my clients, actually a couple of them, are having, as I said in the webinar, a lot of trouble with getting the 2020 refund. But they're they go into the website, and the website tells them it's being processed. So there's really nothing more that, if it says it's being processed, it means it is. I mean, it's not like they can say that it's being processed if they never received it. I mean, in that case, it would say that, it hasn't been received, or, put in your information again, or something of that nature. But it'll kind of, you can almost like kind of track your tax return on the irs.gov.
It's helpful to have it. And we do have an attendee that suggested, she says, it's a good idea to take screenshots when filing in online forms in case of loss of information. Absolutely. You don't want to be looking for those numbers and the amounts if something goes wrong. Thank you. All right. So I'm going to go ahead, but again, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to put in the chat. wanted to share with you that we have, again, career workshop series. We'll have resume writing this coming up workshop on Thursday, February the 3rd at noon. Sorry, like this is a wrong. I have a typo here. It says 3rd and PM, and it doesn't. I am sure I wrote it, and so it is at noon, from noon to 1 PM. Sorry about that. And the financial literacy series workshop next month. It's on February the 16th, Wednesday, the same every month, from 8 to 9. And again, it's income. Is this the right topic, Kathy?
Yes.
I thought you said something different. Okay. So it's income tax basics for 2020 returns. Thank you. So it will be a continuation of this one. Please join us. And then we're very excited to announce that we will have free tax filing preparation 101 in March, in the whole month of March, and the first 2 weeks of April. And we will alternate. We'll have a couple at Fort Totten in Bayside, Queens, and then we will have I think 3 weeks in Queensboro Hall. So if just be on the lookout for our emails, and we'll send a link to a sign up sheet, so you can choose your slot, and you can have someone help you file your tax return. And then we would love to invite everyone to become a member or to donate to support these free programs that we offer. We're also working on new programs. So any support is greatly appreciated. I think Lana shared a link in the chat. So and we also would like to have just have you join us. We're planning a lot of services and programs, so we're excited to share with everyone that could benefit from them. If you'd like to learn more about the center, you can find information at cwny.org in our website. And our email address is info@cwny.org for general questions. Again, here are 2 locations. And we're on social media as well. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and we do have a podcast. We're also, it's in the works, but we do have a few episodes there. So thank you so much for joining us tonight.